my name is Pearson, and today I'm going to teach you on how to practice your heel flips and your kick flips without even trying to land them. So the first thing you need to learn how to do in order to learn how to practice heel flip and kick flip without trying to land it, you need to learn how to place your kicking foot and your popping foot in the right placement when trying to do this attempt. You want to learn how to stand on the board the proper way and setting up the right way when trying to flick the board without even trying to land it. You want to step on the board. You want to place your kicking foot in one of the spots that you're going to flick when trying to heel flip or kick flip. I'm going to start off with the heel flip first, since I'm more comfortable with that trick. When you're having your kicking foot in the right position when you're trying to heel flip, you want to place your kicking foot right here where the bolts is in the front of the board, where the nose is, which I have two tails on both sides of my board. I don't know about your board, if you have a nose or a tail. But me, I have a tail on both sides of the board. I'm going to be flicking on my tail. You want to place your kicking foot halfway off the board like this. And you want to have your toes kind of hanging off the edge of the board when trying to set up like a heel flip. You want to have your popping foot on the tail like this. You want to kind of have it in the pocket of the board on the tail when learning how to pop the board. The second step you need to learn how to do before actually learning how to flick the board when trying to attempt the heel flip or the kick flip, you want to learn how to flick the board while standing. And this is what that looks like when you flicking the board while standing. If you learn how to do that while standing, you will be more comfortable learning how to flick the board without landing. So you gotta get comfortable flicking the board when standing, when trying to not land on the board. And when you're trying to learn how to flick the board, you wanna flick in the pocket of the board when trying to heel flip. So you wanna flick like this. You wanna flick in that direction when you're trying to learn how to flick the board when trying to attempt a heel flip without trying to land it. So if you perform that motion with your foot, you will attempt the flick the correct way. This is what that looks like when you hitting that pocket on the tail or nose when you're trying to attempt the flick when trying to heel flip. So you see right there, when you hit that pocket when trying to flick the board at the same time, when you do that, the board will flick the correct way when hitting that pocket when attempting a heel flip. Do that and you will flick the board the correct way. So moving on to the kick flip, it's the same tips that I apply with the heel flip. So the kick flip is kind of different. When you perform the kick flip, you basically have to kick the opposite way when you performing this trick. When you set up like a kick flip, you want to place your foot in this position right here. You want to set up your kicking foot like this on the board. And you want to place your popping foot on the tail like this. You want to set up like this, kinda like this. This is how I set up. So you want to have your kicking foot placed on the board like this. And you want to have your popping foot placed on the board like this. When you have your feet placed on the board the correct way, you will be able to perform this trick the right way. And when you have your kicking foot placed in that position, you will be able to flick in the correct way. This is what that looks like when you have your kicking foot placed in that exact same position on the board when trying to attempt the kickflip without landing it. Just like I showed you right there, when you place your kicking foot in that right position, you will be able to flick the board the correct way. And when you're trying to perform the kickflip without landing it, you want to flick in this direction when trying to flick the board. You want to flick like this. You want to flick behind you and forward at the same time when flicking, when trying to perform the kickflip. And you want to hit the pocket right here of the board when trying to attempt the flick, when trying to kickflip. This is what that look like when you hit that pocket on the board when attempting the kickflip. Just like I showed you right there, when you flick in that direction when trying to perform the kickflip, you will be able to flick the board the correct way when hitting the pocket in that direction. So you want to hit this pocket right here of the tail or nose when trying to kickflip. If you add all those tips like I showed you, you will have no problems learning how to flick the heel flip or the kick flip when learning how to place your feet in that position when trying those tricks. If these tips helped you in any kind of way, feel free to share it with someone else that might need this tip on trying to learn how to heel flip and kick flip and flick the correct way when learning these tricks. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification button so you won't miss out on videos like this every week. So you can be notified when I post videos like this every week. Catch you in the next video.